students have responded overwhelmingly to the flipped class. High levels of engagement. I think kind of setting that baseline for a mindset shift. Students know that they can't escape work anymore. At the same time, they're all working in their zones of proximal development. So it's all appropriate, I mean, you really see the payoff in student engagement and teacher engagement as well, right? I'm allowed to actually get out and work with the kids and work in lots of different objectives in a single day, in a single hour even, right? And so I'm very engaged in the classroom. I'm allowed to be very engaged in one-to-one learning with kids, which just translates to them as well. Right? They have an opportunity to work with me whenever they need me throughout the day, which makes for a really engaging learning environment. I think one of the biggest skills that students have to get used to in the flipped class is attention to detail, right? The onus is entirely on them to make sure that they get it right the first time. When I'm implementing lots of digital skills practice and digital assessments, it's not them turning in work and waiting for me to correct it anymore. It's them turning in work, having it corrected immediately, and then seeing their mistakes instantly. And so, when they do come across challenges or struggle to, grapple with skills, it's immediately on them to remediate and figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong here? And so attention to detail is just at the forefront of everything, which is great. I mean, because that immediately translates when it comes to high stakes testing. I mean, when they sit down in front of state tests and district tests and even school level tests, and they're making sure that they get it right the first time, because that's something that happens every single day in class. I mean, that's a monster payoff for them and for me, to be honest. I mean, a teacher loves that. I mean, it immediately pays off with test scores. That makes us all look good. So yeah, attention to detail, I think, would be the number one thing. Beyond attention to detail, I think the flipped classroom highlights independence more than anything, right? I mean, the onus is instantly on students to not only know what they're supposed to be doing, but to go out and find resources to accomplish it. If they need me or if they need other adult resources in the room, it's on them to get us. It's on them to go and find different physical resources in the classroom. I mean, it's even on them to get help from their peers. So it's just, there's an organic level of independence that, when you're functional in a flipped environment, is just there. And so after you grapple with those mindset issues in the first few weeks / few months of school, students really become independent in their learning environments, which, immediately pays off with results. When a student is engaged and knows what they're doing and knows kind of their own next steps and is able to set their own goals and is able to measure success versus failure, and then take that back to the drawing board as to, okay, what am I going to do now? You just have that organic, open mindset, which is incredibly collegial and incredibly educational, just from a social emotional standpoint. The social emotional payoff from the flipped classroom doesn't come from the structure or system itself. It comes from the redefined role of the teacher. I'm able to work with a student instantly. If I notice a social emotional gap, or if I'm noticing social emotional hangups with students in my class, I'm there to work with them on that, right? I mean, a lot of kids students many times don't have open minds. And I can identify that instantly. And while I'm working with some students on content, some students on addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, I can be working with other students on how to accept failure and how to grow from it, right? How to self-remediate. So the flipped classroom gives me the time that I need to work with students on exactly what they need. And many of those students need that social emotional time. And lots of times they just need attention from me for a period of time, to know that I care, to know that I'm watching, to know that I'm there with them if they need my help, but that I want them to be independent. They need that messaging. Many students, at this age and all ages, need that messaging from their teacher / mentor. And I'm allowed to probe them to be their own teacher, where I'm the guide on the side. And that takes a lot of social emotional growth and a lot of social emotional lessons and objectives, and kind of that redefinition of my role and the time that I spend in the classroom allows me to be whatever it is that individual students need at that time.